for the last year and a half, I can't think of anything else to talk about. So I am a little bit different maybe than some of the folks up here in that I was diagnosed with primary progressive multiple sclerosis in January of 2008. And I'm sure some of you might obviously know what PPMS is, but basically any new symptom that you acquire, it stays with you. So in some senses, it's similar to the secondary progressive MS that some of you might have as well. But you know, I was searching for something, and sorry. When I saw the episode of W5, it opened a whole new world. And I'm sure it was the same for a lot of you. It's we can be angry and we can be, you know, thumping our thank you, thumping our fists on whatever we can thump our fists on, because this is wrong. And when I saw this episode, I started doing my research. And what I found was appalling. I found, as an example, CCSVI.ca is owned by the MS Society of Canada and has been since February before that November airing. They've known about this for a long time. My own neurologist, Dr. Friedman, in Ottawa, had been approached at several conferences by Dr. Zamboni himself, and he still, to this day, calls it a cult. Welcome to the cult. Join us.
Yeah.
So nobody really knew because so little has been done, and Dr. Zamboni himself has been begging people to carry on this research, to take it one step further, to validate his results. And surprisingly, or not surprisingly, nobody has done this yet. It's begun, but in so many ways, nobody is tackling this seriously. As I mentioned, I was diagnosed in January of 2008, and Dr. Zamboni's results were published in 2008. I believe still, and what is going on now is atrocious. If they had followed his lead or tried to, replicate his results as is done in, a lot of cases in science, we would have stopped my progression way sooner. Just so you know, I use a wheelchair to get around. I can stand. I can stand for longer now since I had my treatment in August of 2010. I can do more. I used to have to take a nap every day. I mean, this is not new for people who have MS or for families of people who have MS. We know what the implications of multiple sclerosis are on our lives. I would have a conversation with you, and I would forget what I'm saying in mid-sentence. Now I'm here, I'm able to talk to you guys without forgetting what I'm about to say or what I wanted to say. I speak with students at Algonquin College on a fairly regular basis about this as well. And it's kind of given me my life back. That's bottom line, what it's done. I still can't get up and go running. But you know what? Running is not as important as what I can do now. It really isn't, And when I went into the procedure, I kind of went in with, everyone goes in with hopes, probably. But I went in with a clear head. I had done my research. I knew that if you have a progressive form of this disease, that your results perhaps are not going to be anywhere at all close to what somebody who has relapse remitting might have. But I was not ready for the improvements that I did have. Like I was saying, just the fact that I can not spend 3 days planning my next trip to the city or, just to go get groceries. Now I could do my groceries, I go for my weightlifting class, all kinds. I'll visit with my friend, and then I'll pick up dinner and go home. Sometimes I might make dinner, maybe. But I can now. The options are mine. Whereas, last year at this time, I didn't have any options. And, I'm sort of babbling here, but I just, I really want you guys to, we need to fight. Because this is the single most improvement that I've ever had. When I was diagnosed with MS, the primary progressive MS, my neurologist said to me, go home and live your life. This was not Dr. Freeman at the time, just so you know. Go home and live your life. There's nothing I can do for you. There's no drugs, there's no treatment, there's no nothing. If you want, you can put your name on this list and we'll put you into a drug trial for whenever. And a year and a half later, they finally got the trial together. But you know what? Right after that, the CCSVI thing broke. And thank goodness, because as some of you probably have witnessed, the drugs, they don't help. Not the way this has helped me. And I just think that it's unfortunate what's been happening in our political system and in our multiple sclerosis society. I'm extraordinarily disappointed in them. Not in the small local chapters, because I really believe that they are doing the work. But our head office in Toronto, I'm sorry, but if any of you know of Ann Kingston, who wrote the articles in the Maclean's magazines, she went on to have a discussion on a radio program, an internet radio program called CCSVI Blogspot or something. Anyway, I can email it to you because I put it everywhere. There's a clip within the first 5 minutes. Ann Kingston is telling about how her interview with Yves Savoie, the president of the MS Society of Canada, how he had told her that he thinks this new thing is intriguing. However, their preference would be to find a pharmacological solution to this. I'm sorry, a balloon angioplasty? Less than 1% risk. That's it. There's no reason why we're not doing this instead of pumping up the industry, up the pharmaceutical industry. That's our next fight, but you know what, right now, we need to get fixed. This is what we need to do. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy.